Give me that. Just push it out.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How are we doing today on a Thursday? It's opening day of the NCAA Tournament. So what more could you ask for? It's the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. We are not live in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios today. We're in Tampa as we are awaiting a little bit of media availability for the Alabama basketball team, and we will be watching the Crimson Tide do a little shoot around, maybe go through a couple of drills. Nothing too intense today as Alabama gets ready for tomorrow's first round game against the Hofstra Pride. You can watch this show on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, on the BamaCentral Facebook page. You can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. And of course, the program is brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. We appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing for sponsoring this show, and you can visit them online at roofturtle.com for all of your roofing needs. Whether it be a metal roof or a shingle roof, they can take care of you. Roofing with heart, built to last. Purple Turtle Roofing. We're here with my man, Theo Fernandez. You can follow him at Theo Fernandez, _ on the Twitter machine, and myself at Joe Gaither6. Leave us a comment, question, query, or complaint. Send us a voicemail at 205-462-7340, extension 800. If you've got predictions for this year's NCAA Tournament, we'd love to take your voicemails. We're going to be talking about NCAA Tournament today. We'll fill out our brackets. We invite you only a few more hours to fill out your bracket. Enjoy the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral's Bracket Challenge. You can do it by searching all our social media machines, and it's all up there multiple times. It's written in the show write-up page over the last couple of days as well. You can win yourself a $50 Chucks and a $50 Five gift card to great restaurants in Tuscaloosa. We appreciate them donating some gift cards for us. They've also got great locations all throughout the state of Alabama, so you don't have to just live in Tuscaloosa to take advantage of that prize. We're going to be filling out our bracket today. I guess I'll be revealing mine, and Theo said you're going to reveal a brand new one. Theo, your discussion before we got going triggered me. You said I'm a 25 bracket filler outer.
Always have been. I always have played the numbers game. But we've elevated to ball knower status this year. I'm making one bracket, and I'm sticking to it. Now, I've already filled out two. One was just, you have to fill out one on Selection Sunday. Then you have to fill out one with, just this is everything that I want to happen. But right now, on the Joe Gaither Show, we are filling out the one and only one bracket that I will take any credit for this March.
There you go. Do you remember the old Mike and Mike radio show, Go Looking
Oh,
Green?
I love those. I grew up on those.
Sheet of Integrity. It's one sheet of integrity. Not 25. What are we doing here? Used to carry around my one sheet back before the internet in my pocket and pull it out throughout the bracket time, throughout that first round, and be mark it in red pen and circle it in green pen for the ones you got right. Way before the internet back was around. But yeah, we're gonna fill out a bracket today. But I have a couple of Alabama questions before we get into the game tomorrow that I think maybe would you rather's or so. I only have actually one would you rather, but I have a couple other questions after that about Jalil Bethea and Aden Holloway's kind of availability next week. Obviously, look, we talked about it heavily on the Tuesday show, Aden Holloway's situation, and we've all talked about the front court, the depth, the lack of depth in the front court throughout the last several weeks, maybe even a couple months now, considering we've been going through this basketball season. So I want to go to Taylor Bol Bowen because without without Aden Holloway, you're going to get other guys stepping up. You're probably going to be looking at Latrell, right? Rod still stepping up, and Jalil Bethea stepping up, and maybe needing more from Houston Millette. But you've had this issue in the front court since the beginning of the year, all year long. Taylor Bol Bowen has shown you a couple of different instances. Oh, I'm going to have a really good game here. I'm going to get a bunch of points there. I'm going to be up on the rebounding there. But he's never been consistent throughout the whole year. So given that he's been inconsistent, you had one rebound in Friday night's game against Ole Miss, their loss. I think it was, 8 points A lot of them, he did catch that lob from LeBaron Philon for the fast breaks. I think it was 8 points and 1 rebound against Ole Miss in the last game. I looked up his season highs. 17 points is his season high scoring against St. John's. And he's had 10 rebounds twice in 2 different games. He's had 10 rebounds against Texas and against Missouri. In that St. John's game, 17 points, 9 rebounds. So really, really nice game against St. John's. That Texas game, 11 points, 10 rebounds. So a double-double right there. 1 double-double on the season. But if I can only have you give you one side, one stat for Taylor Bol Bowen, do you think it's more important for Alabama to have Taylor Bol Bowen get 10 or more rebounds, get in that season high rebounds range, or get in that season high points range, 17 points ish, contributing to the Crimson Tide, helping them get to the second round? You can only get one. Put yourself in Nate Oates' shoes. What do you think he thinks is more important to this year's team? Right?
Rebounds, easy. I don't even think it's close. I struggle to see a world where Taylor Bol Bowen grabs 11 rebounds and Alabama loses this game. Fact of the matter is, you have other guys who have proven they can score. You don't need him to do that. You wanted him to come in and be this guy who, yeah, I can give you guys some really electrifying points, right? As really this kind of spark plug type role. I almost pictured Taylor Bol Bowen being a London Jemison type of offensive player for this team coming in. That's just not who he is. If he grabs 11 rebounds for you, first of all, guaranteed a bunch of those will be offensive rebounds that turn into here's an easy 2, or here I can kick it back out for a 3. But just what it would do as far as limiting what Hofstra does on the offensive glass, a place they really excel, I would be astounded, first of all, if Taylor Bol Bowen grabbed 11 rebounds, and then I would be even more astounded if he did that in Alabama loss. So rebounds easily.
All right, so since grabbing 10 rebounds against Missouri, he's had 19 rebounds in the 10 games after that. 1.9 rebounds per game from basically your backup 5. Your somewhat 4. Just unbelievably pathetic. I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's pathetic from somebody that you think is 6'10", 6'11", big time athlete, and oh, by the way, you're playing the majority of the backup 5, the backup 4, mixing in the 3 role. But 19 rebounds over the last 10 games for Taylor Bol Bowen.
I'd be willing to bet the point average number doesn't sound all that much better. I mean, it won't sound quite as bad as the 1.9, but yeah, it kind of highlights just what a miss it has been.
29 points in those 10 games.
2.9.
Goodness gracious. Oh, my God.
2.9 and 1.9 from Taylor Bol Bowen over the last 10 games.
That's
absurd, man.
And you think about it, like, all you need is a little bit.
If he can combine for 10 points and rebounds, I think you're happy with what he does on the court.
Yeah, 5 and 5, 6 and 4, something like that.
Like
9
you're
and
happy
3.
with that. You're like, hey, we got all we could right now.
Unbelievable, yeah. So I think Taylor Bol Bowen is a huge piece of this weekend. A huge piece of this weekend a huge piece for Alabama trying to advance.
I just don't think you're going to see anything out of him, if we're being frank. I would like to.
Well, then we're going home.
I think we're more likely to see a real Noah Williamson moment than we are Taylor Bol Bowen in this.
How do we quantify a real Noah? One dunk?
You know a Noah Williamson moment when you see it. We know it when we see it, right?
What if we treat him like he's the special needs manager and cheer for every little thing he does? Is that a wall?
There's cheering, and then there's the wow, this place would explode if it was pulled. You'll know the Noah. There will be no doubt about the Noah Williamson moment.
That's true. But I just, if you don't get anything out of Bol Bowen, then you're going to be driving home sad on Saturday or late Sunday.
I agree. Yeah.
Goodness. So we'll see what happens.
I think we will be driving home sad. So.
Oh, we'll find out here in a second as Theo fills out his bracket. I'll reveal my picks as well. Just one other thing is, before we get to the brackets and reveal our picks and whatnot, is Jalil Bethea. We're going to go talk to the players here in just a little bit. Jalil's going to be made available. Obviously, Aden's not going to be around. He's probably still in Tuscaloosa, considering his week, his unfortunate week right there. But Jalil is basically the next guy up. I mean, it's Latrell and it's Jalil. It's Latrell, Jalil, and Houston. We've seen Latrell, we've seen Houston play most of the year, and they've filled their roles pretty well. Obviously, Latrell had a pretty tough night on Friday night against Ole Miss. But Jalil now knows, he goes into a week knowing, hey, I'm not going to just get 5 garbage time minutes at the end of the first half to kind of middle of the second half. I'm gonna have to have a big role. We've seen Jalil this year, I think, really, really press a lot. Oh, I have the ball. I have to be a playmaker. I have to go score because I'm probably going to go right back to the bench here in a minute and a half. So I've got to make my mark on this game with the knowledge that, okay, you're not going to be restricted to 4 to 7 minutes across both halves. You're not going to be under 10 minutes across both halves. You're going to have a real role in this game. Alabama needs you to give them a little bit of scoring, to take care of the basketball, to dictate the offense. Do you think him going into a game realizing I'm going to have a bigger role allows him to be a little more relaxed and not press as much when the ball comes his way? What do you think we're going to see out of Jalil Bethea?
I've been deliberating on this back and forth because you'd like to believe that, okay, yeah, all of this play comes from him trying to force things, right?
Sure.
But to a certain point, if a guy is truly bought in to everything that Nate Oates is trying to do, right? You're not going to play like that. You're going to play as a full team basketball player. And I've drawn the comparison before with Bethea about this guy reminds me of freshman year Auburn Tiger Aden Holloway, in that it's like he's playing AAU offense. So I don't know that that's something that just changes just because you're getting minutes. And I would like to believe it. And Oates has stayed pretty positive about Bethea and his attitude and his buy-in with the team. And the talent is there. We know how absurdly talented this guy is, how skilled he is, how, yes, he could go out and he could give you a lot of buckets, especially against a team like Hofstra. I also worry less so about the offensive end because at the end of the day, if he is messing up the flow of the offense, he simply won't play, right? Like that is, you'll play, you'll give all those minutes extra to Latrell, to Houston, and you can work around it. What worries me is, okay, you're producing a little bit on offense, but then the defensive side of things continues to be what we've seen, right? And it continues to be, I don't know where I am on the court. I don't understand what's happening off this screen. Hofstra's a team that sets a ton of ball screens. And one of the things that I noticed when I watched their offense was the ball screen to where you'll have the guard wrap around and then dump it off back to the center. Like moments like that where you really, any lapse in positioning will lead to an easy two, either from Edmeade or Davis going right to the hole or passing it up. So I really worry about this Preston Edmeade guy who's really playing absurd basketball right now, who's hitting, 27-foot game winners. And he scored 22 in the semifinal, 26 in the CAA final. Led the team in scoring both times. And if that's who we're putting Bethea on, and it will be, right? Because LeBaron will be on Cruz Davis, and Bethea can't guard anyone else on that court besides the other guard, right? So I worry about how that's going to go, and I worry about an explosion, with all the attention being on Cruz Davis. Oh, Preston Edmeade, the CAA Freshman of the Year, just put up 25 on Alabama.
Woo! It's going to be fun to see on Friday at midday, about 3 o'clock. We'll be able to have all the coverage for you at BamaCentral.com. Make sure you're following Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _. We're here with Katie Wyndham. She's upstairs or downstairs somewhere in this hotel getting ready for the day. You can follow her at Katie Wyndham _ and myself at Joe Gaither 6. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting weekend because I could see it going either way on Friday and either way on Sunday for Alabama. Also, you could be getting ready for Chicago next week, or you could be getting ready to play transfer portal roulette and draft decision roulette. That's going to be truly coming upon this basketball team after the season concludes. Last thing before we get into the bracket here is Aden Holloway. We talked to some people last night, and essentially, I got the feeling that if Alabama wasn't in spring break this week, the University of Alabama wasn't having spring break this week, that Aden Holloway would have already handled his appeal or scheduled his judicial hearing with the university. The university's kind of disciplinary board, because that's kind of the first step of his consequences to deal with. And kind of what I was kind of hearing last night was, had it been a normal week, he would have already had his judicial hearing and would already be on the road back to playing for Alabama, despite the legal troubles that he's kind of found himself in over the weekend. So, Theo, with that said, if Alabama makes it to the Sweet 16 to take on Georgia, Michigan, Georgia, and St. Louis, right?
Billikens.
The Billikens.
Represent.
There we go. To take on one of those squads, then will we see Aden Holloway against one of those three squads in the Sweet 16? Because spring break is over on Monday for you guys, yes. Right? So school gets back in session on Monday. Aden Holloway can have that disciplinary hearing, that judicial board hearing. They can hand down their punishment, and then he can move on to, I guess, the courts. The courts then they can have their say about about being out on bond, and what he's allowed to do while he's out on bond. Do you think that if Alabama survives this weekend, we'll see Aden Holloway return to the court?
No, from the conversation that we had of the source that we're not going to reveal, like absolute 1,000,000% yes.
What's the reaction going to be like? Aden Holloway starts against Michigan next week.
One of my favorite tweets that I saw from the Bediako situation was, there have only been 2 times where I've said, how is that player playing? And both times they've been the University of Alabama. That number's going to be raised to 3 because we know exactly what the reaction will be. It's, how is this scumbag organization program letting this guy play? Like, you guys know what is coming. I love it. I love the hate that will be coming into this program. You guys should love it too, right? It feels like we're back in prime Saban football. Like, we should be happy about this. So I think we absolutely will see Holloway play. And if Aden Holloway were to lead Alabama to a Sweet 16 victory, floodgates would open. Now, I don't think that'll happen to bring us back to reality, but
how many 3-pointers does he have to make against hypothetical Michigan to make it worth it? 7?
I don't think
that's a lot. I mean, that's
I don't think there's. What do you mean by worth it?
Well, all right. If he goes out there and goes 0 for 7, and Alabama loses, then you're just going to get it's karma. That's what you deserve. What? But if he goes out there and goes 5 of 7, goes 4 of 7, and Alabama wins, you're gonna. First off, the hate will go off the chart. You wouldn't have won without Aden Holloway. But like his return, it's worth it because you got to the Elite Eight.
The hate is going to be there anyway, so who cares what other people are saying about this program? Like Nate Oates, he goes about things a certain way. Nate Oates is not sitting here thinking, oh, well, how good can he play? How do I make this worth it? No, Nate Oates is saying, this is how I run my program. And this goes for better or worse. This is how I run my program. I'm going to play my guys no matter what. That's how he's ran it. That's how he's going to continue to run it. And that's not going to change based off of, oh, is it worth it? Could we lose? How late? None of that matters. All that is irrelevant to this situation.
So it's okay to play him no matter whatever the statistical output is.
That is the point from this.
Oh man,
it does not matter.
It's gonna be an interesting week if Alabama survives and gets to the Sweet 16, and there will be a lot of hurdles for Aden to clear in the early part of the week. But I am in agreement that if Alabama survives, that he will be on the court in the Sweet 16. He'll go through the hoops on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and he will be up in Chicago on Thursday, Friday, Saturday for that round of 16. Well, Theo, time for the business end. I think that you've got your bracket blank. I've got my one sheet already filled out. I might make a change or two as we go through it, but it's already filled out. You see my champion is sitting right there with a big old A on it. So we'll see if I can if we can keep that through this little presentation here. But we're going to go through the brackets, and we are going to talk about our picks. Once again, we invite you to jump in and join us on the Joe Gaither Show Bracket Challenge. You can do so by finding our social medias at Theo Fernandez _, at Joe Gaither 6. It's on BamaCentral's homepage as far as on the show page. It's written right in there. You can click it, take your brackets right in there at ESPN and win some nice food gift cards, nice restaurant gift cards. Before we get into the entire bracket, because this sort of feels like the midpoint of the show, let me tell you about Purple Turtle Roofing. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor, we're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. Visit them online today at roofturtle.com. All right, Theo, what you got for us? What region do you want to start with? I liked your suggestion before the show, taking it region by region. You want to make Alabama's Midwest region last or first?
So let's just start up top in the East.
Top left, excuse me,
we're
top
go
left.
One full region, so we pick all the round of 64, then all the 32, 16, 8. And that way we'll keep it one region at a time.
That's perfect. All right, so we're starting in the top left in the East region. I'll just rip right through them, and then you can go through yours and give any analysis that you want. Because a lot of my picks were just, this feels right. Now, and I went really top heavy on my bracket because of the NIL era making these rosters even more loaded at the very top end. I went Duke, I went Ohio State, St. John's, Kansas, South Florida, Brian Hodgson. I see you, Brian Hodgson. There's your upset in that little region. Michigan State, UCLA, and then UConn, all out of the round of 64, getting to the round of 32 in the East bracket. You got any of these that you disagree with, or you want to talk about any of these games? Feel free to. What do you think about the East bracket first round?
Yeah, first of all, Ohio State TCU is as close to a coin toss as you'll find. That should be a fun, just 8-9 matchup. Feel really bad for Northern Iowa. Really good, 12 seed, really exciting mid-major that just has a brutal draw. Cal Baptist is a fun basketball team. Get ready to learn a lot about Dominique Daniels Jr. He's an electric player. What he did to get him there, leading them to a win over Utah Valley. It was a great moment. Kansas, I don't know, like DNP. I don't know if I trust DNP. That's Darren Peterson, for those who haven't seen those jokes about him not wanting to play basketball.
Do you think that's just a load management
issue? No.
No.
If you've actually seen the games, like, he will check himself out of the basketball game.
I don't understand it.
It's absurd. It puts me off a lot, but I will take Kansas for one round. I agree on really everything else. The only caveat is that UCLA, UCF will be an incredibly fun basketball game as well. UCF has done some impressive things this year. I really just like Donovan Dent a lot, so I'm going with the Bruins. And I agree with you on the South Florida upset with Mikal Brown hurt.
So we're going to see how far Brian Hodgson can go. He's in line for a lot of these job opportunities. It seems like he reportedly turned down Syracuse earlier in the week. So there's our round of 64 in the East bracket. Look, I'm going to move right on down, scroll down to the South, Florida's bracket.
Oh, wait, I thought we were staying one region at a time.
Oh, okay, yes. No, that's fine.
So that way people
that's fine. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right, so we're still in the East. And in the round of 32, I've got Duke, Ohio State. I'm taking Duke into the Sweet 16. I think that's a pretty easy call for me. I'm taking St. John's over Kansas. I'm taking Michigan State to end Brian Hodgson's run in the next round. And then I am taking UCLA to upset UConn. Just vibes, Jay. Most of my bracket is just vibes. I know a lot more about the SEC squads than everybody else, but I am taking my in the Sweet 16 of the East bracket, Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, and UCLA.
I'm intrigued by this UCLA team. First of all, Battle of the Bald Crash Ass between Cronin and Hurley would be just an incredible matchup. Like, I would love and hate to be a reporter covering that matchup. Better not raise your voice there. I'm gonna go UConn. I don't think UCLA is all that good to begin with. Like, I know they've played really hot, but I think they'll come back down to earth a little bit. I agree with Michigan State, South Florida. Should put up a fight there, but you know how it goes. January, February, Izzo, April. I'm going to go St. John's over Kansas, and yeah, Duke. Really not much deliberation there. I'm going basically chalk in this region.
There we go. And I'm taking Duke to beat Michigan State in Duke to beat St. John's. Yeah, I'm one round back. Duke to beat St. John's, Michigan State to beat UCLA, and then I'm taking Duke to get out of the region and go to the Final Four.
Here's where we're in disagreement. If you don't know, a about what a great player Ejiofor is for the St. John's team. You are going to learn. You look at this Duke team and the Boozers and just everything that they've done this year, and you have 2 losses, Texas Tech and UNC. You've played such a great year, and John Shire keeps winning tournament games. The Godfather is here to change that. Patino is going to send Duke home in the Sweet 16, get to the Elite Eight for a rematch of the Big East title game. And I want to keep going with St. John's, but I do think that UConn will get its revenge. UConn beats Michigan State in a thriller and then beats St. John's to get to the Final Four. And I really like this Sweet 16 match that I think we're going to get between Michigan State and UConn. I think will determine who goes to the Final Four. And that's really a toss-up. So I feel a little unsure about this UConn pick, but I just think that every team got kind of a raw deal in this region. St. John's being a 5 after, not rising after winning the Big East title. Duke being the 1 seed and having to face St. John's in the Sweet 16. UConn, did it to themselves by losing and dropping in the 2 line. But it's just, you have so much talent in this region. So many big-time teams, and this is, I think, the hardest one and one of the toughest regions I've seen in a while. So UConn, really hard-earned win.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to get started today. So we're going through our bracket right here on the show as the NCAA tournament gets started on a Thursday. So I've got Duke in the Final Four from this region. You've got UConn in this region. We're going to move to the South bracket, scrolling down your bracket, still on the left side of the page. You've got Florida as the 1 seed in this bracket. So my winners in the first round is Florida over Prairie View, Iowa over Clemson. These games will be right here in Tampa, so we can't wait to see these other games. I'm taking Iowa over Clemson, Vandy over McNeese, Nebraska over Troy, VCU over North Carolina as my upset in this little region. I've got Illinois over Penn, St. Mary's over Texas A&M, and Houston, of course, advancing to the round of 32 in the South bracket.
Well, I'm in agreement with almost everything there. First of all, I got Clemson beating Iowa. I just think Bennett Sturts is all this Iowa team has going for it. And I like what McCollum's done building up the program, but I think that you look at this Clemson team and what Brad Brownell does and building them up. And we saw him play in Tuscaloosa. I like this Clemson team a good bit. So I'm going to take them there over Iowa. I'm taking Texas A&M over St. Mary's. And I love the WCC. I love the St. Mary's program. I think it's one of the best run in the nation. But time and time again, we just see tournament letdowns out of this group. And it's always so fascinating when you have a clash of such a slow team in the Gales versus, Buckyball. I think Buckyball gets it done. Punches its ticket to the round of 32. Agree. You guys know I'm taking VCU. A-10 represent. The big one, though. Nebraska has never won an NCAA tournament game. That will continue through this weekend.
Go Trojans!
Give me the Trojans. And first of all, this Nebraska team starting out so good, getting, I think as high as 8th in the country, and then just completely cratering down to earth, just taking some bad losses. Victor Valdez is a nice player for the Trojans. And I'm not super high on Troy compared to the other 13 seeds. Like, I like Cal Baptist. I like Hofstra more. It more so comes down to, I think Nebraska is one of the worst forwards we've seen. And if I was if I was St. John's, I would be furious about Nebraska, about being a 5 when Nebraska is 4. This team is a fraud, and you guys will find out.
So Trojans, we'll see if the men of Troy can advance to the next round. I'm taking Florida over Iowa. I'm taking Vandy over that fraudulent Nebraska team that you just talked about. I'm taking Illinois to keep it going. I love their offense. And I'm taking Houston to get to the Sweet 16, setting up basically a clash of styles. Illinois' offense against Houston's defense in the Sweet 16.
I agree with Florida Vanderbilt. We will get that rematch. Troy's run ends there. Houston handles A&M, and they will meet the VCU Rams. This VCU team has won now, if my math is correct, 16 out of its last 17. Just firing on all cylinders right now. Just talent, good coaching. Phil Martelli Jr. has done a phenomenal job. I like the Rams to pull the upset. I haven't been high on Illinois really all year. And I think that they will move to the Sweet 16 for the first time in a while for this program.
There you go VCU. And continuing in the region, I got Florida over Vanderbilt, And I'm taking Illinois. You just eliminated Illinois. I'm taking Illinois over Houston. And then I'm taking Illinois to upset Florida.
You got Illinois to the Final Four.
Yes, exactly.
Elaborate.
Well, I don't trust Florida's guards. I like Illinois' just depth of skill, and I think that they play a fun style of basketball. I think that they're going to be able to get to the free throw line against Houston. Houston's going to try to junk up the game, and I think that Illinois has been there and done that, has dealt with that style through the year. And I probably just have the Alabama matchup where I thought that they were so dangerous stuck in my brain. That I think I'm going to take Illinois' offense to get hot and stay hot all the way to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, a complete disagreement there. So I've got Florida over Houston in my Elite Eight. First of all, I think that Florida shouldn't be worried about the SEC championship or the SEC semifinal rematch. I think that loss is something that almost will be good for this team as far as waking them up and, hey guys, let's lock in. This Florida team is phenomenal. And I think that we've seen Xavier Lee especially elevate his play in big moments. We saw him down the stretch against Kentucky. We've seen him do some nice things at Princeton, obviously lower level, but like he is a big moment player. I don't know I'm a little less sure about Boogie Fland and what he will bring to the table, but I like this Gators team a lot. And if I had to give one lock for the Final Four, one pick that I feel the best about, it's Florida.
I think Florida's a great team. I just don't trust their guards. Their forwards are incredible. Yeah, their forwards. They might have the best collection of forwards in the entire college. Them in Arizona. So it's going to be a really challenge. I was just kind of trying to throw a curveball in there.
I like it,
and because it's not all going to be one seed. So I was trying to look for somebody to get upset. We're going to keep going here. We're going to move back up to the top of your page to the right side into the West bracket as we are making our picks on the Joe Gaither Show for the NCAA Tournament. In the West region, I'm taking Arizona over Long Island, Utah State. I'm taking Wisconsin, Arkansas over Hawaii. I am taking AJ Devanza and BYU over Texas, Gonzaga over Kennesaw State. Sorry, Petway. Love you, brother. Hope you can pull that off, but don't think so. I'm taking Miami over Missouri, and I'm taking Purdue to take down Queens. So pretty chalky first round for me.
Yeah, I mean, LIU, I love this team. I love this fan base. Arizona, obviously, we'll run them out of the gym. I'm low on Utah State. I'm low on the Mountain West as a whole, and I'm high on the Big East. I like Villanova. I think High Point is unfortunately the most fraudulent Cinderella pick out there. Like, this team's just not impressive, guys. They beat up on a weak conference. There's not enough talent really to make me consider. And I like Wisconsin a lot, and I think that it'll set up a really fun round of 32 matchup with Arkansas. Hawaii, I was giving Joe and Katie the rundown yesterday. Hawaii plays like a no-help style defense. So basically they don't switch, and the whole premise is no open threes, force guards to make tough shots. Well, that doesn't really work against Darius Acuff. So unfortunately, Hawaii will probably be ran out of the gym, blowout there. It's a strategy that could work against another team potentially, just not the guy who's being called the best point guard John Calipari's ever coached. So I got BYU over Texas, and one that I've been going back and forth on this one. Team from the first four usually wins a game in the second round. BYU's hurt. Texas is playing nice basketball. I'll go BYU to set up a game against Gonzaga. Missouri is horrible, guys. Missouri is a bad team. Miami will win, and Purdue. So I've unfortunately got all top 8 seeds here. Doesn't happen much for me.
There we go. I'm taking Arizona over Utah State. I will be taking Arkansas in that fun matchup. I'm going to be taking Gonzaga over BYU and Purdue to put down the Miami Hurricanes and get to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, complete agreement. I think Gonzaga, I'm not super high on them, which I've been a Gonzaga guy my whole life. I love that program, but it more so just comes down to BYU not being 100% and Gonzaga getting the job done.
And then in the next round, I'm taking Arizona to get past Arkansas and to meet Purdue in the regional final in that Elite Eight. And I'm going to be taking Arizona over Purdue so give me the Wildcats to go to the Final Four.
Agree on the Elite Eight matchup. Arkansas has a chance to pull it. Arkansas just had a little more big man depth, man. I would take them. But I got in this Elite Eight 2 words for you. Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Renn, must-see TV. These guys are
Was that 2
electric.
words?
That's 2. I never said 2 words. Those guys are electric. This Purdue team, you saw what they did in the Big Ten championship against Michigan. I have never in my life picked Purdue to go on a run. I'm almost always correct in doing that. But I'm drinking I'm drinking the paint. I'm drinking the Matt Painter hype this year. I like this team. Senior heavy, senior led. Braden Smith may be the smartest college basketball player I have ever seen. Just one of the best pure passers. It is art on a basketball court, what he chooses to do with the ball. I like this team a lot. Give me Purdue to the Final Four.
Whew, I like them a lot as well. They're very, very mature. They came in and really, really had their face in the fire against Alabama, and that place was rocking that night. And they just steady Eddie right on through and marching through Alabama. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did end up getting to the Final Four. All right, so the last region is the Alabama region, the Midwest region, where we are in Tampa for Alabama and Hofstra, and also for Texas Tech and Akron. I'll just go right down the list like we have here. I'm taking Michigan to win, obviously. I'm taking St. Louis over Georgia. I'm taking Akron. I am taking Akron over Texas Tech. Theo's talked me into it over the week. I'm taking Alabama over Hofstra. I do think it's going to be a lot tougher than most Alabama fans would want it to be. I think it's going to be a pretty close game in the last 4 or 5 minutes, but Alabama will be able to advance into the round of 32. I'm taking Tennessee over Miami of Ohio. Actually, you know what? This was an old sheet. I'm changing that right now. Last night's game impressed me enough. I'm taking Miami of Ohio. They shot the ball well enough. They look like they're playing with a lot of confidence. 32-1 speaks for itself. I'm flipping that pick right here on the show. I had Tennessee on my sheet. I'm changing it to Miami of Ohio as we re-review everything and finalize everything. I'm taking Virginia over Wright State, Santa Clara over Kentucky, and Iowa State to close out the round of 64.
This is what I think is objectively the weakest region.
Well, it's a good thing we're in it then.
It's a good place to be in it. Problem is, we're part of the reason it has that label. So I'm going Michigan. I'm going St. Louis. Robbie Avia gets it done. This team is fun, man. And they're struggling lately, but I don't think Georgia is all that great. You know, they beat Alabama, obviously, but I'm not super high on the Dogs. So give me the Billikens, greatest mascot in all of sports, arguably. Texas Tech and Bama both win. I know we have very strong upset potential in both of these games. And I like this Akron team. I'm glad I was able to talk you into a pick there. And obviously, Hofstra is scary. Alabama has all of the talent in the world, even without Aden Holloway. And despite me going and playing up Hofstra and, they can pull the upset, we have some serious problems if you lose to a 13 seed. And that goes for any program, any school, any team that's a 4 seed. You lose to a 13, which, yes, it happens almost every year. It happens about 20% of the time. So at least once every other year, right? And we're due for one this year. We're going to have some problems if Alabama is that team. So Alabama wins over Akron or over Hofstra to set up a matchup with Texas Tech. I agree on Miami of Ohio. This team is awesome. And I got Santa Clara upsetting Kentucky, Iowa State handling Tennessee State.
So we'll keep it going here. In the next round, I'm taking Michigan over St. Louis. I am taking Alabama over Akron. So it will be a good weekend here in Tampa if you're traveling down for the Crimson Tide, winning 2 games over Hofstra and Akron. I am taking Virginia to end the dream season of Miami of Ohio, but Virginia getting on to the next round, and Iowa State to take down Santa Clara.
I've got Michigan, and you guys know this pick is coming. I've only been saying it for about 7 weeks now. Alabama's season will end in the round of 32. Go watch back our show from yesterday for the full breakdown on Texas Tech. Alabama's not ready to compete physically. They're not ready to compete in the paint. They're too streaky. There are a million reasons to not pick Alabama. Texas Tech ends the Crimson Tide season in the round of 32.
Heartbreak.
Now, look, with that being said, I mean, I've talked about Akron could pull the upset and Alabama could play Akron, or Alabama could lose to Hofstra. This really is going to be such a fun quadrant of basketball, but it is one that Alabama will not survive. Miami of Ohio, Virginia. That's a tough one. I'm going with the Red Hawks. Their ability to hit shots, their ability to just find ways to win games. It was an electric game yesterday against SMU. And I'll be honest, I was going to pick them to win one game no matter what and then lose probably to Virginia. And I got talked into picking them one extra round from what I saw yesterday. It's such an electric team, man. Give me the Red Hawks to face Iowa State in the Sweet 16. I considered Santa Clara. Santa Clara is a fun little squad there, but Iowa State, it's weird. They don't do anything great, but they do a lot of things well. They're just a solid all-around team.
And to close out the region for us, I'm taking Michigan, unfortunately, over Alabama. This is where the run ends in Chicago. You can't hang with their size, in my opinion, and it's going to be a really, really tough matchup. So I'll take Michigan and Iowa State, all chalk, to make it to the regional final. And I am taking Big Blue, Michigan over Iowa State to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, I am in complete agreement there. I think Miami's Cinderella run does end in the Sweet 16, which would be incredible. Look, the thing is, I like this Virginia team, but at the same time, I don't. They did. It's streaky for year one of the Odom era. Or is it year two? No, I think it's year one of the Odom era. Iowa State really doesn't impress me, really, at all. But I think they just kind of cruise into the Elite Eight, where they do get dog walks, basically, by Michigan.
And so that takes us to Indianapolis, the Final Four, Theo. My Final Four is extremely chalky, so that means it's not going to happen. I've got Duke, Illinois, Arizona, and Michigan. I'm taking Duke and Arizona to win their Final Four matchups, and then I'm taking our friend Jaden Bradley to win the national championship. The Arizona Wildcats and Bryce James allow themselves to cut down the nets.
Did you see the video of Bryce James taking off his warm-up stuff to look like he was in uniform for the team photo?
Yes!
Bryce James, yeah. So I've got UConn, Florida, Purdue, Michigan, 2 1s and 2 2s. I got Florida over UConn. I got Michigan over Purdue. I think Michigan gets its revenge from the loss in the Big Ten championship. And Florida is my national title pick. I am really high
back-to-back
on the Gators. Back-to-back.
What? Right over left.
Over left. Back-to-back for Florida. I'm really high on this Gators team. I've been really high all year. I tried to stay high on them even during their little SEC season slump early on. This team is legit. The bigs, Chinyelu is phenomenal, man. He is the best rebounder college basketball has seen since Oscar Tshiebwe. The guards, I think, will elevate. You know how talented Boogie Fland is. You know Xavier Lee has an ability to hit shots when it matters. And then you obviously know Thomas Hawk is a phenomenal basketball player. There's no starting five in basketball better than Florida's. And when you include a guy like Micah Hamlockton and you look at the depth that they have, this team is built for March. I like the Gators a lot. And I feel, might come back to bite me, I feel more confident about the Gators winning this title than just about any title pick I've had in the past. The only one that came close was probably 2024 UConn.
Wow.
I really like this Florida team. I would advise everyone strongly, pick them in your bracket.
There you go. 2 different brackets. Theo taking the Florida Gators. I'm taking the Arizona Wildcats. I'm taking Alabama all the way to the Sweet 16, losing to Michigan. Theo is taking Alabama into the round of 32, losing to Texas Tech. And so we will see what happens as the tournament unfolds. Tomorrow morning, we will basically just have it. What we're going to do, Theo, I think we're probably just going to try to get Katie in here and do basically a short round table. What's going to happen in the game? Make it a 25-minute episode. Since the game's at 3 o'clock, Both of us have already revealed we're picking Alabama to win tomorrow. So we'll just kind of figure out a score and figure out kind of a game flow. We'll try to get Katie Wyndham in here as well. Maybe get her to do 3 minutes on Alabama softball as those ladies are rolling. But it's going to be all basketball the rest of the week. If Alabama wins on Friday, we will have a show on Saturday. If they lose on Friday, we're going to be driving back on Saturday. So we'll break it all down on Monday. But that's going to be kind of the plan for the rest of the week. If they win on Friday, we'll do a show on Saturday, breaking down the game and setting up Sunday's game. Sunday morning, we'll do no show. We'll just roll right into, hopefully, the round of 32 matchup against Akron or Texas Tech. And then we'll be working that. So you can follow all the coverage on BamaCentral.com. We'll have win, loser, draw, live updates, tweets. We'll have what NATO said. We're about to go into locker room availability with the team. So we're going to hear probably a lot of generic Aden Holloway answers. You'll be able to see that on all our Twitters. I've already run into several Alabama beat writers that are in this hotel right now, so you'll be able to see it on all the platforms that you like to enjoy. But we encourage you to find us at BamaCentral.com. It's going to do it for the show today, Theo, unless you have any other bracket thoughts or anything you want to, any other advice for the people, life advice. You're up exercising this morning. 25 brackets? That's insane. Yeah,
I'm matured past that.
One sheet, right or wrong. I'm glad you're growing up.
The excitement is off the charts right now, man. I'm trying to keep it contained. I'm like just staring at this clock moving, brackets lock in 2 hours, 1 minute, 45 seconds. Like, we are that close. We are that close to March Madness, man. I feel like a kid the day before the first day of class. This is awesome.
Theo, what was your let's get out of here on this, because this has always been a huge day for me. And growing up, I went to a school that I was very thankful, aligned spring break every year with the NCAA tournament. I don't know if that was the reason, but it just happened to always fall. And so we would get out of school on a Wednesday for spring break, have a long weekend, and be off the next week and be back for Monday. So we basically get Thursday, Friday, the whole week, and then come back to Monday. And so it would line up perfectly. We were at half day on Wednesday. The next morning, the tournament started. And for me, my parents are actually at work because they have real jobs. I had to break into the cabinets. I always made a huge plate of nachos for about 11:30, 12 o'clock that first game. Did you have any traditions? To me, it was huge plate of nachos as the first game is starting, and I'm just sitting on the couch all day.
Are you familiar? Well, you're not familiar, but for anyone from New York, with the phenomenal supermarket known as Stu Leonard's, it is an American institution. It is Disney World if it was a supermarket. That's not an exaggeration. They have all like these little songs, and it's an amusement park.
Okay.
It's incredible. We would go there the Wednesday before, buy everything you could possibly want for the tournament: the wings, the calzone, stromboli, like the stuff to make your own pizzas, just any snack you could possibly want. And then we'd stagger it out over a couple days, right? You didn't have wings one day, but no, like me and my family, there were 2 occasions for us to eat phenomenally just about, and that was a Giants game and the first weekend of March Madness, and we lived it up. So I'm gonna be living a little lower this time around. I don't think they're catering a buffet of sports food for us at this event, but I'm excited, man. It is March Madness.
Well, it is here, so we encourage you to follow us at Theo Fernandez _, at Joe Gaither 6, at Katie Wyndham _, and at BamaCentral. We really appreciate Derek Daniel for sponsoring the program. We're not in the studio today because we're on location. Call Derek for all of your insurance needs, 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. And check out roofturtle.com for all of your home needs and your roof needs. If you're worried about some of these storms that have happened this week, make sure that you call them at 877-787-6635. They'll come out and give you a free roof inspection. They'll check out to make sure there's no damage from the storms that just happened. And there's storms coming up ahead. So if you're worried about what may be going on in your home and what's going on in your roof, visit them at roofturtle.com to get Purple Turtle Roofing on your side. We appreciate all our sponsors. We appreciate all our listeners, all our viewers. Please join us in the Bracket Challenge. It's totally free, totally free, totally free. You can sign up. It's through ESPN. All our links are out there, or you can just type in the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral for the group name. You can win yourself a gift card to Chuck's and to Five. The winner gets both gift cards. We're not doing nothing for second place. Sorry, second place is no prize. Winner gets $50 gift card to Chuck's and $50 gift card to Five. You can use it at any of their locations across the state of Alabama. We really appreciate them throwing in some gift cards for us to make our winners happy. It's going to be a great day. We appreciate everybody joining us. Leave us a voicemail for your brackets, your reactions. Set us up for tomorrow's game against Hofstra. Give us your thoughts, your keys for the Crimson Tide, and we will talk to you on Friday right here on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. BamaCentral.